Hi, I'm Isha Thorpe, and welcome to the Bronx Journal. With today's struggling economy, it seems almost impossible to start your own business, much less start a successful one. Today on the Bronx Journal, we have a special guest who's going to speak about an organization that's giving women the knowledge to succeed in their business ventures. Marcia Cameron is the director of the Bronx Women's Business Resource Center. Hello, Marcia. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Aisha, for having me on. I truly appreciate this opportunity to talk about the services that we provide at the Bronx Women's Business Resource Center.
Thank you. So tell us, what exactly is the Bronx Women's Business Resource Center?
So I'll start off by explaining a little bit about what we do. We provide services, counseling, training, anything that you really need to start and operate a successful small business. We are the small business arm of the Hunts Point Economic Development Corporation, and we're sponsored by the Small Business Administration as well as New York State. So we think of ourselves that we're federally funded, we're also state funded, and we're locally funded to be able to provide these services not just to women in the Bronx, but also to men as well.
Okay, and what are the demographics of the students?
Because we're a women's business center, we primarily see a lot of women, and that's just pretty standard really for a lot of women's business center. We do see a wide cross-section of men as well. I have to say most of our clients though do come from the Bronx, although we've had clients from Connecticut, we've had clients from New Jersey, we've had clients from Long Island. I think the word is getting around about the services that we provide.
And how long are the classes that you provide?
We provide a 60-hour comprehensive entrepreneurship program, and it takes you through everything that you really need to operate a small business. We recently had a workshop at the Bronx Library Center, and it actually was for 66 hours because we like to have a really great graduation ceremony, and that was included as part of it. And each class is for 3 hours, and it really was just for 66 hours. And when you completed the program, you received a New York State certified certificate because you completed a New York State program.
And what are the ranges of the different businesses that the students have or want to begin?
Okay, so one of the things that we've done since I started was we reached out to Capital One Bank, and we've been fortunate to get a business plan competition. So we've actually included that as part of the component of the 60-hour program. Because of that, we see a wide cross-section of businesses. And so we had 4 winners because we have $5,000 that we give out. The first place is $2,000, and she actually wanted to start a beauty salon for children in Harlem. Our second place winner wants to do event management. She's been doing this for a number of years, and so she wanted to start off on her own. The third place winner does fashion design. She actually is coming up with a plus-size clothing design. And the fourth place winner wants to start a substance abuse program. So as you can see, it really varies. The services that we try to provide, the training, really gives you the fundamentals of having and running a small business. And so we try not to have it too specific. We've had a lot of people who want to start a daycare. We have a lot of women who want to start a hair salon. So it really varies in terms of what you want to start.
And where is the organization located?
We're centrally located right at Fordham and Grand Concourse. We're at 2488 Grand Concourse in Suite 321.
And what are the different business backgrounds of the teachers that teach there?
My background, and I'm actually one of the teachers, my background is in banking. I have over 10 years of banking experience. And so for me, it's, you know, I'm all about the financials because I love to say you may have a great plan, but if you don't have access to capital or financing, you're not going to succeed. You are going to need funding to be able to build and grow that business. We have other business counselors whose background is in marketing because that's also really very fundamental. And what we've tried to do in the past is to invite speakers in. So we have a search engine optimization specialist. We have a web design, someone who comes in and literally walks you through how to design a web page. And then not only to design a web page, but how to get Google Analytics involved, you know, how to really optimize the search engine. So we try to have a wide cross-section of teachers in. We have an accountant. We work with legal aid, and so we're able to bring in an attorney because if we're giving out legal advice or accounting advice, we prefer to have people who are certified to do that.
And are the programs or are the classes only for potential entrepreneurs, or can current ones also enroll?
I think that's the beauty about what we do. We have existing business owners as well as startups. And I think I have to say that I'm so proud of them because they network amongst themselves, they learn from each other. There are times when George, who is the business counselor, and I actually taught most of the class, and we sat back because they were just networking amongst themselves and sharing ideas. And I think having a mixture of startups as well as existing is actually the perfect ecosystem to really develop small business owners.
And how important is a business plan?
I say this, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Okay.
And I know it's cliched, but it's so fundamental. Oftentimes we've had people, actually there's this great story about two young men who took our program and they wanted to start a restaurant. And so one class, I literally said, okay, let me look at your financing. Let's look at how it's going to break down. And they realized that within 3 months, they would have run out of the $60,000 that they had. And they didn't start the business. And they have been so thankful to us because oftentimes there's so many people who start a business, especially a restaurant, and within the first 6 months you fail. And that's because you have not planned it out. Because any business that you start, you need cash flow. And I think oftentimes people start a business, you have some money and you can start it. But if you don't have adequate cash flow to keep that business running, you're setting up yourself to fail. If you have a business plan, one of the things that we do is that we take you through financial projections because that is key. You need to see where the money is coming in, how the money is being spent, and what sort of cash flow you have to operate the business. So I say that if you're going to start a business, and I know a lot of people have it up here, you have it in your head, get it down on paper. Because when it's on paper, you realize, okay, I can tweak this, that's not working, what do I do here? So I think having a business plan is fundamental for anyone who wants to start a business.
And do you have a course that specifically teaches how to start a business plan?
Yes, we do. And that is the New York State Entrepreneurial Assistance Program. It's 60 hours. On completion, you do have a completed business plan. We just had a class graduated March 27th. We started the class with 31 people and we had 25 graduates. So, we do have a really good success rate in terms of business plan completion because we drive you to it. It's very important that if you're coming in and you're dedicating that time, that you show results. And so, we have workshops where we walk you through, not only the workshops, but we have one-on-one individual technical assistance because I can have a training with 20 people. But I think for each person, you need to come in and have that one-on-one consultation to be able to define what your needs are.
And what mistakes do you see a lot of beginner entrepreneurs make when they're first starting out?
I think I just answered one of the questions, right?
Yeah.
Cash flow. Cash flow is so essential. Again, a lot of people start out and they haven't done the projections. They haven't looked at the financial projections, and so they fail. The money runs out. And this is also from my banking experience. Someone would come into the bank and they said, well, I need some money. How much money do you need? They don't know the business is failing and they need to be able to run the business. So I'd have to say the first mistake is really having adequate cash flow and failing to complete that business plan. It really is. We normally say before you turn the key, make sure that you've done your homework. And part of that homework includes having a business plan.
And what do you think of society's views on moms that want to have their own business or are working? Do you think society's views are becoming more accepted of that?
I believe so. I mean, there are a lot of women out there who are very successful entrepreneurs. I mean, our executive director, Josephine Infante, literally started this about 25 years ago. She's a mom, she has 2 daughters, and she's been able to do it. So there are a lot of role models out there, a lot of women who are doing it, and they're successfully doing it. And that's why a Women's Business Center is so essential, because we give them the resources to be able to run successful businesses.
So you do think it's easier for a woman to start a business today than before?
I believe so. I believe that the government has set aside resources to enable them to do that. I'm not saying there aren't still barriers. I'm just saying that it's easier, and I think, and again, I appreciate the opportunity of having me here, because the more I speak about this, the more I can get the information out, the more women who will be able to access the resources.
And can you tell us a specific success story that a graduate has had?
Sure. The second time we had the competition, we had a young woman who actually publishes a magazine. Her name is Audrey Bayer, and it's a magazine for, it's a lifestyle magazine. It's dedicated to women who love women. And she's been fortunate enough to get publication in Barnes & Noble, in Borders. She's actually looking to go overseas now with the magazine. She was recently honored in Brooklyn by an assemblyman. You know, she's just really, she's out there, she's running the business, she's doing what she has to do, and she's a success. And for someone like that, we're so proud of her that we're able to work with her, and we continue to work with her. That's the other thing about our program. You finish the 60 hours, the relationship does not end. We continue to work with you.
And how can residents of the Bronx contact you if they want to volunteer or want to just lend a helping hand to you? We
would love to have more volunteers. The best way, I think, to reach out to us is email, really, which would be info, I-N-F-O, at Bronx, and Bronx is spelled out, WBC.org. Or you can call our offices, 718-933-7466. And I'm going to repeat that number, 718-933-7466. We're available. If no one's there, leave a message. We'll certainly get back to you.
Okay, well, I want to thank you for coming in today. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity.
We'll be right back with more of the Bronx Journal.